told you we got some pretty smart people. You got to balance it out with me on here. How's it? Are you guys enjoying this so far? Can you handle just one more presentation before we go to lunch? Okay. All right. Well, I got some cool stuff to share with you. So I want to have a conversation with you all about becoming biolimitless. I want to talk to you about the journey, the process, and what we're going to do together to accomplish this. I tried to keep this secret, but again, sometimes secrets pop out real quick. So I wrote a book about becoming biolimitless for this launch. And I want you all to take a picture, download this. This is a free download for you to have. This book, you can purchase it on Amazon. We'll get links and all that stuff. But what this book is this book is the history of what got us to this day. Literally the history of the healthcare system, so you understand where we came from. It goes through and it goes into understanding cellular health, what gut health is. You know, we're talking about DNA. A lot of these things that we're discussing with Biolimitless, this is the manual. This is a tool for every one of you to have. So if you'll go now, you can download this. We're going to take it down on the 20th. So those of you watching online, everybody that's there, take a picture of this, go download this. This is a free digital download. And I'm going to tell you, I would encourage you over your lunch break, flip through it a little bit. Because I know this will massively open up your mind and help give you some more tools about what it is that we're doing. Because one of the main things that we're doing is we're talking about the blueprint of you. I mean, folks, listen, vitamins, minerals, and nutrients are the basic fundamental building blocks for your body. We all need to eat clean foods. We all need to have vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. I'm telling you, we don't really have a problem with that. We have a lot of foods. We have a lot of supplements, a lot of nutrients. The problem we have is those raw materials aren't getting put into repair mode because we don't have the worker bees. You guys have heard me say that vitamins, minerals, and nutrients are the raw materials, but you need worker bees in your body to do the work, right? Well, those worker bees are things like peptides, enzymes, gut bacteria, stem cells, exosomes, things of that nature. As we get older, we lose the production of those. In fact, once we get over the age of 30, and I think there's a few folks in here over the age of 30, we lose 90% of our body's ability to make those chemicals that signal our cells. So when I showed you before what the body deeply looks like, how it's vibrating and moving, that's a young, healthy, vibrant individual. As we get older, we lose our frequencies, like Dr. Porter discussed, and we lose our cells' ability to regenerate, to take those raw materials and use it. But how many of you know that the worker bees, the contractors, they need a blueprint to follow? Well, that blueprint is your DNA. And so what I'd like to do, I want to show you, how many of you guys thought that video I showed you earlier was pretty cool, pretty neat in the body? I want to show you a video about your DNA, what your DNA looks like literally in your body right now, what's happening millions and billions of times a day in your body. Let's cue up that DNA video, please. It's the microscope DNA. So this video, this is your gene library. That's what your DNA looks like in your body right now. Those little purple things are peptides and proteins making that gene work. So look at this. I mean, this is literally your gene transcription happening in your body right now. Your DNA is splitting. This is in real time. That's the nucleus of a cell. That's how nutrients get inside of your body. Like all these things are happening. That's why it's so silly to me when people focus on diseases, because this is the genesis of all of that. If you understand what's happening inside of your body and you know how to bio-tap into that, that's what we should be focusing on. I mean, inside of that cell that we just saw is all of these crazy, amazing little machines that are in our body. I mean, how amazing is that? We can now measure this stuff and we can tap into it through these technologies. This is the scaffolding that holds all of our cells together. I mean, that's literally a little kinase carrying a protein molecule down a tubule to make proteins to repair tissue in your body. I mean, that's happening in your human body right now. It's carrying peptides and proteins, carrying from one side to the other. Most people just focus on, I don't feel good. It's a lot deeper than that. This is what's happening inside your cells, literally right now in your body. What if there was a way to measure that and tap into that? This is how muscles and microtubules are built in the body and broken down. It's the cytoskeleton of our bodies. I know I'm kind of a nerd, but how fascinating. Isn't that just amazing what's happening there? So powerful. So powerful. All right, let's click over and let's queue up a video. I want to play a video on the Biolimitless DNA test kit. So listen to this.
Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the endless stream of health advice and frustrated with the lack of clear solutions that truly work for you? With all the conflicting advice, many people turn to traditional medicine only to be handed prescriptions instead of root cause answers. The problem isn't you, it's the one-size-fits-all approach to health that overlooks how your unique DNA prompts your body's response to food, stress, sleep, medical treatments, and more. Without understanding your genetic factors, you're left to navigate your health blindly, often with frustrating and ineffective results. But by understanding your unique genetic makeup, you can take control of your health in a way that's personalized and effective. Your DNA is the blueprint of your body, with tiny variations known as SNPs, or single nucleotide polymorphisms, that influence everything from how you process nutrients to how you respond to stress. Think of these SNPs as settings that determine how your body operates, affecting your metabolism, energy levels, and overall health. Imagine knowing exactly how these genetic settings impact your well-being. Instead of guessing, you could tailor your diet, exercise, and lifestyle choices to match your unique genetic makeup. That's the power of understanding your DNA, moving from uncertainty to utilizing true self-care as healthcare. Now, imagine having a tool that provides a comprehensive roadmap tailored to your unique health needs. The Biolimitless DNA Discovery Kit does just that. Biolimitless uses the most advanced global array Illumina technology to analyze approximately 800,000 SNP genetic markers, some of the most comprehensive analysis on the market. With a simple, non-invasive saliva sample, this precision test uncovers how your body responds to different foods, exercise routines, and your predispositions to health conditions like obesity and type 2 diabetes. The results are delivered through the Biolimitless Life app, a personalized portal offering detailed reports and actionable insights into your diet, fitness, and overall wellness. This isn't generic advice, it's precision testing and precision health management. From understanding how your body metabolizes nutrients to how it processes essential vitamins like D and B12, the insights you gain are specific to you. With this knowledge, you can create a personalized health plan that truly aligns with your unique biology. Remember, physiology doesn't lie. We test, we don't guess. Understanding your genetic makeup is the first step toward taking control of your well-being. Because ultimately, self-care is the new healthcare.
How cool is that? So I just showed you what's happening inside your DNA, right? We looked at that. We know that there's over 20,000 genes that we're aware of in the human body. There's over 1.8 million SNPs, which is a single nucleotide polymorphism. In the genetic world, we're talking about something called nutrigenomics, which is the measurement of your genes and how can you have lifestyle changes to affect that. Epigenetics also is one of the things that we measure. But if you think about this, in the genetic world, we have a couple phrases that we use. We say, look, your genes load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. So just because you have a certain gene doesn't mean that you're going to have a disease. Does anybody remember back, oh man, it was probably 10 years ago, there was a famous actress in the US, Angelina Jolie, that had a double mastectomy because she had the BRCA gene that was positive for potential having breast cancer. We now know, and remember, she went and had her breast removed and it was a big deal, but we now know that just because you have that gene doesn't mean you're going to have that disease. It's kind of like the train's coming down the track and you have the ability to kind of just step out of the way if you change your lifestyle. But if you don't, then you have a higher risk of developing certain problems. Does that make sense? So I will tell you that we're really super excited because the type of test that we use, I've been in the genetic space now for over 15 years, and the type of testing that we've upgraded to is a nutrigenomic test that measures 800,000 SNPs. And I want to tell you how big of a deal that is. There are other organizations out there that aren't as scientific and medically based as I would like to say that we are. I'm being very polite when I say this because I don't want to point the finger and go, you're bad. What I want to do is go, how can we all play together to help each other, right? Because that's what I'm all about. But there are other organizations out there that are running SNPs they're measuring 5 SNPs, maybe 10 SNPs, and then they tell you you should eat good, you should exercise, you need to sleep better, drink more water, and take my vitamins. Like that's the answer to their problem. You understand that's not a very good answer. Would you agree with that? And those tests are $700, $800, $900. And so let me just tell you this. The global array that we run is on an Illumina machine. It has a 99% accuracy, which is the most accurate SNP testing that's on the market today. We want to always bring the best when it comes to what we're doing Biolimitless. So we can measure 800,000 SNPs. We now have over 300 SNPs that are what we call actionable. So in a minute, I'm going to share with you, I'll demo the app. We have a really cool app that you guys are all going to have access to, that all this data and information is going to go on. That, by the way, not only is it HIPAA protected, it's protected in the same standards of HIPAA in the UK and all over Europe. It's the highest level that's out there. It's all decentralized until it goes to your app. And you're going to be able to see so much about yourself. There's different categories within this genetic makeup that shows so much, but it's going to show you how you should sleep, what foods you should eat, how exercise is good for you. There's something that we measure called epigenetics. There's a gene that is plaguing so many people on this planet, and it's called MTHFR. And this gene is the gene that's responsible for most thyroid problems, most autoimmune issues. One of the reasons why leaky gut's a big issue, which Patrick Porter just talked about, if you have leaky gut, you're going to get a leaky brain, which leads to anxiety, depression, insomnia, and all these other problems. This MTHFR is also the #1 gene why women have miscarriages all the time. And it literally is simple as knowing that, oh, my body can't handle those vitamins, I should take these vitamins, and I need to avoid gluten. And it literally could change that person's life forever. But if you don't know, then you have no clue of what you should do. It really can be that simple. Many of you have heard me give the example of a woman that I take care of. She's very health conscious. She has autoimmune issues, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic pain, lots of inflammation. She eats well, right? She's been focusing the last 20 years on trying to heal herself. And so she eats clean. Well, she's eating a lot of grass-fed beef, a lot of chicken, a lot of kale, and a lot of other types of greens that are high oxalate foods. Well, we ran a genetic profile on her and found out she can't get rid of oxalates. So literally the foods that were healthy for her were causing her problem. How many of you in here, it might be the foods you're eating or the supplements you're taking or the amount or not the right amount of sleep you're getting that's really the true cause of your problem? If we could tap into your blueprint to find these things out, that's a complete game changer. Yes, thank you. If self-care is the real healthcare, and it's all about understanding your DNA profile so that you could live your lifestyle for that, then how come not every man, woman, and child has that? I truly believe that if every baby that was born on this planet, we had a proper genetic profile of that child to see what lifestyle they should lead, it would totally change the course of so many of the chronic diseases that we have in this world today. I don't know if you know this, but in the United States alone, I think the statistic is over the last 25 to 30 years, we've seen an increase in chronic disease in children by like 60%. It might even be higher than that. Why is that happening? We live in a world where we're spending more money than we've ever had on healthcare, but we're getting worse results. It's because the system that we're currently playing in is broken, and it doesn't give you, the individual, the responsibility and the ability to take your own health back into your own hands, and this does. I'll show you the app in just a minute. It's really pretty powerful. What I'd like to do now is kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about cellular health. You guys hear me say a lot of times, one of the reasons why we have the symptoms we have is because we get over the age of 30, we have stress in life, the chemical compounds in our body that help produce things that help our body signal the cells to work don't work like they're supposed to. So you're going to be hearing a lot about cell signaling technology, not just from what we are discussing here at Biolimitless, but you're going to be hearing that in the health and wellness space. Why? Because it's the truth. People are moving towards it. And so now doctors are starting to talk about it. And the amazing thing about cell signaling technology is we can actually stimulate those cells. There are multiple chemicals in the body that we lose the ability to produce as we get older. How many of you could eat whatever you wanted to eat and all of a sudden you hit 30, 40, or 50, and now you get heartburn, bloatiness, gas, distension, whatever? That's because of one or two reasons. You've lost the production of enzymes in your body. Enzymes break down food so that they can digest and be absorbed in the cells, and they tell other cells what to do. Well, that's a cell signaling technology that you can lose. We're bringing that to the delivery system for you guys. The second thing that people lose as they get older, as we get older, is we lose the ability to produce the right bacteria inside the GI tract. We're going to get into that in just a moment. The third thing is we start losing stem cell and exosome function. Well, I told you that we have a product we're going to be launching at the global launch in 6 months that is the first FDA-approved oral consumption pill for exosomes. That by itself is an absolute game changer. And then there's the conversation about something called peptides. How many of you ever heard of peptides before? Well, you know, peptides, I giggle about this because we've been using peptides in our private practice now for almost 2 decades. It's not a new thing. Peptides have been around for a long time. But just like, you know, like social media does, it makes things popular when people are looking for solutions. How many of you guys know that the reason why peptides are popular now is because the system has failed and people are desperately trying to figure out a product or a solution to solve the problem of the failed system? That's what that is. That's all that is. And the problem, the solution is not peptides. The solution is not stem cells. The solution is not gut bacteria. It's not more vitamins. It's not the latest Vita Vegemin product. It's a system to understand how your health works, and then a process for you to implement that. And it's different for every individual. Once we understand that and grab onto that, that's the breakthrough that we all can have. Now, cell signaling is a really interesting conversation. So what I'd like to do before I talk about our cell signaling technology is there's a video that we have on cells function. I want you to look at this because this is a video about producing ATP, which is energy. How many of y'all know people who their get up and go, got up and went, they don't have energy anymore? It's not because you're old, it's because your cells aren't doing this anymore. This is one of the key components to cell signaling technology. So let's watch that video first.
All life on Earth depends on this tiny, energetic molecule, adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. ATP drives biochemical activity inside your living cells and is a key building block of DNA and RNA. Generating ATP for your living cells are mitochondria, electrochemical batteries that converts energy from the food you eat and oxygen from the air you breathe into ATP. So where does your ATP come from? Deep inside your mitochondria, rows of molecular motors generate ATP, the molecule essential to all life on Earth. Enzymes bring together reactants to form a chemical bond, converting mechanical energy into chemical energy. A ring of enzymes work in step, creating 3 molecules of ATP with each cycle. Inside the molecular motor, a rotating axle powers the sequence. The axle is attached to a rotary molecular motor, moved by the force of protons, pushing from the other side of the membrane. A difference in proton concentration propels the molecular mechanism. synthesis of ATP. ATP drives biochemical activity inside your living cells and is a key building block of DNA and RNA.
So I wanted to show you what cell signaling looks like in the body. That's literally a microscope of what's happening in your body. The cells have to be signaled. They have to move around to wake up the body, to grab those nutrients and put it into play. Well, folks, we have technology in the use of peptides. We put a formula together that has been very beneficial in causing cells to signal, in reducing inflammation, in telling the tissues to go back to work. I want to share this technology with you, but before we do that, let's play a little video about our product, Cell Signaling Formula, and then I'll come back and talk a little bit about that product.
Many of us experience constant fatigue, slow recovery, persistent inflammation, and hormonal imbalances as we age. Starting around the age of 30, our cellular signaling efficiency begins to decline, which leads to slower healing, weakened immunity, and accelerated aging. Without proper signaling, our bodies struggle with tissue repair, hormone production, and maintaining our overall health and vitality, among other often experienced symptoms. And as we know, treating these symptoms isn't ever going to be enough. We can, however, help address a root cause by improving cell signaling and reinvigorating our bodies to work more efficiently for us. Our bodies rely on trillions of cells communicating and working together effectively to perform many of our essential functions. Now, imagine a construction site where the workers, in our case enzymes, peptides, your microbiome and stem cells, are no longer receiving proper instruction despite having all the necessary materials to build, such as vitamins, minerals, nutrients, fats, proteins and carbs. Nothing gets built. An ideal state of health means having all these workers and materials in sync, leading to increased energy levels, improved tissue repair, balanced hormone production, stronger immunity, and more graceful aging, both outwardly and at the cellular level. But how do we achieve this ideal state? Many people choose the route of taking commercially prescribed peptides to help with cellular signaling. However, there are often significant downfalls. Megadosing with peptides, as seen with many doctor-prescribed injections, can make your receptors less efficient and may cause other side effects. Additionally, these treatments can be quite expensive, often costing hundreds to thousands of dollars per month or more, plus potential doctors' office fees. That's why we developed a better solution, Biolimitless's Cell Signaling Formula. Our unique delivery system contrasts with the injections of today's peptide drugs and allows you to microdose powerful peptides that provide a superior physiological response at a lower cost with less side effects. This advanced supplement features a powerful tripeptide complex, including Cmax, ipamorelin, and BPC-157, known for their remarkable abilities to enhance cognitive function, stimulate growth hormone release, and promote tissue healing, among others. Created using our globally patented phyto-microencapsulation technology, we can ensure these short-chain peptides are protected, survive the stomach acid, and reach the small intestine to be absorbed into the bloodstream. By using our cell signaling formula, you can improve cellular function, support healthy organs, optimize nutrient absorption and utilization, and boost your immunity, all while avoiding the pitfalls of traditional peptide treatments. Incorporating Biolimitless's cell signaling formula into your daily routine means you're not just treating symptoms, you're addressing a root cause of aging and cellular health decline. Experience the transformative power of optimized cellular function and take a proactive step towards a healthier, more vibrant life.
How cool is that? So let's talk a little bit about the formula, what's in it, how it works, etc. You'll be able to go later on the website, see more about this. We're going to be doing we've already have a tremendous amount of content that we've already pre-recorded for educational purposes for doctors, scientists, and etc. to see, and then also for lay people as well. So look, this formula uses a tripeptide solution, which is, so 3 peptides we have in here, and the oral encapsulation technology allows us to get absorption of that into the small intestine, which will get it into the bloodstream. It helps people so they don't have to use the injections anymore. Now, you have to understand that there's a whole bunch of peptides that are out there. And so we're using specific peptides for specific reasons, especially the peptides that are what are considered GRAS, generally recognized as safe. And these peptides are nothing more than amino acids put together. You guys know what amino acids are? So it's literally like just a little chain of amino acids. Amino acids form together to make protein. So these amino acids come from plant-based and animal-based proteins. When they break down, they form this little chain. And this little chain is kind of like a code for the body. If I'm going to write a code for a computer, it's got a specific algorithm for it. Well, that code goes into the body, and when you saw some of those red and green proteins attaching to the DNA, those are peptides to signal the cells to do work. So Cmax is a peptide. How many of you in here know about peptides or have used peptides before? Yeah? So they're really an amazing tool and very safe. Just like all things, used in moderation are very safe. You know, you drink too much water, you're going to drown, right? So too much of a good thing is a bad thing. We know that Cmax has cognitive enhancement principles for the brain. There's a tremendous amount of data and research that shows that it causes the brain to rewire and refire. Remember I showed you that heart rate variability brain scan before in a couple prior presentations where those areas were, you know, red, black, or problematic? That's low blood flow to those areas. That's an area of trauma. Well, Cmax can help get blood flow and circulation back into the brain, which is a very big deal considering the fact that most people have certain types of insulin resistance in their body, which causes the micro blood vessels in the brain to get narrowed and not allow that blood flow to get the brain to work. If the brain doesn't work, nothing works. You guys heard that from Dr. Porter. Cmax is also a BDNF producer, and it produces ATP, so it helps protect the brain. How many of you ever heard people say, man, I'm so stressed out, I keep forgetting things? You ever been in that position before? These are not senior moments. It's your brain not functioning like it's supposed to. You should never have those issues. So when we're stressed out, cortisol in the body gets produced, other chemicals, and our brain literally can turn into Swiss cheese. Well, if we have BDNF protectors, that protects the brain for that. Cmax has clinically shown to do that. Ipamorelin is a secregogus peptide that helps the body produce something called growth hormone. Now, I don't know if you know much about growth hormone, but growth hormone really truly is the chemical of longevity. It's the chemical of anti-aging. It's the chemical of youth. It really truly is. If Ponce de Leon was looking for, something to really help people stay young, it was growth hormone. Now, I'm not a big fan of going and injecting yourself with growth hormone. I have some patients that do it. We've prescribed it for certain conditions. But did you know that like 0.1 cc of growth hormone could be like $500 to $1,000 per just one shot for that? What if there was a safe, effective way that you could stimulate the pituitary without side effects and cause the body to improve growth hormone? Well, what does growth hormone do? It helps a lot with producing muscle mass in the body. Why is that a big issue? Well, the longevity studies have clearly proven to us that the thicker and stronger our muscles are moving into our later years of life, the happier, healthier that we are, and the less chances we have, fall and breaking hips and having chronic pain and inflammation. The more muscles you have, the healthier you are. We lose muscle production as we get older. How many of you know men, sometimes women, but usually this is a man problem? We get over the age of 30, we start losing our testosterone and we start losing our peptide production. And we get this condition where our butt used to be big and plump and bubbly, and now we lose it. It's called no acetol syndrome. We get a belly and no acetol, right? That's a sign that your body's out of balance. There are physical indicators for that. Ipamorelin can help improve muscle mass. That not only helps us reduce pain, but it also helps our body absorb sugar and glucose, because the number one organ in the body that holds onto and pulls into the body sugars are the muscles. So you want to help reverse blood sugar issues, including diabetes. We got to have muscle mass to do that. Another peptide that's in here is called BPC-157. Body protective composition peptide is the name of this. It's a 15-chain amino acid peptide. Cmax and ipamorelin are tiny. They're 5 and 7. That's why they're so easy to absorb into the GI tract. But BPC 157 is known as the Wolverine peptide. It's a nickname for that peptide. The Wolverine just had a movie that came out again, right? Did you see that? And the reason why they call it the Wolverine peptide is because this helps heal cells on a cellular level. It actually comes from gastric tissues that our body produces to make this peptide. So this is a peptide that can help heal leaky gut, which leaky gut, you're going to hear about in a minute, is one of the plagues that's really tearing us up as a society. BBC 157 helps the body heal itself. We were at dinner one time after one of our events, and we were having dinner with a really interesting young man, and he says, "Doc, these peptides are so good, like if I cut my finger off, it's gonna grow back." I said, "No, I never said that." So just for the record, okay, that's not the way it works. But it's amazing what this can do. I will tell you that I've personally used this on myself and with patients. If I've ever had an injury in my hip, my knee, my back, whatever, injecting into those areas and taking it orally can really, truly speed up healing. We also put in here methylated B12 and methylated folic acid. Because some 70+% of the population has a gene imbalance called MTHFR, which doesn't allow you to methylate, these two nutrients can absolutely be a key to help reducing a lot of the problems that 75% of the population deals with. So that is a phenomenal formula. We put a couple amino acids in here as well so that we can improve blood flow and circulation. We wanted to give a calm intensity. I want you to feel something, but I don't want you, this is not like a dopamine hit. I want to improve your cell function. It's not like, having a whole, case of caffeine or something like that. And then we put cayenne pepper in here because cayenne pepper can help heal the gut and it moves the blood in the body. And many people have a lot of circulatory issues, especially in their fingers and their toes. They start to get neuropathies and they start to get issues with, erectile issues and female sexual problems. And if we can get the blood flow to improve, that'll help it. So this formula helps improve mental clarity, enhances mood, stress management, faster recovery, better heart health, better blood flow, effective methylation, which is a big deal. And I will teach you, we'll go through some classes on that together. It reduces cellular inflammation, which is a big deal. Most doctors will tell you that's the root cause of all sickness and disease on the planet. So that's our cell signaling formula. How many of you think that's pretty cool? Yeah, that's a big deal right there. Okay, so I want to cruise through this now. I want to talk a little bit about your microbiome. Now, I promise, I could do a whole weekend just on microbiome. We could do a whole weekend just on DNA. We could do a whole weekend just on cell signaling. We're throwing the spaghetti up against the wall, and you guys are getting a lot of info, and then you're going to get the book. We're going to do this amazing challenge together, all these great things, and within the next, 6 to 8 weeks, you're going to be experts on all this stuff. So let's talk a little bit about the microbiome. How many of you have ever heard of something called leaky gut before? So leaky gut's a big issue. I spent the last 15 plus years of my career really battling leaky gut and changing people's diets and putting them on 7, 8 to 10 supplements and literally pulling out the hair that I had trying to solve this problem. And now we have a straightforward solution with what we've got going on. But I want to play a cute little simple video that talks a little bit about leaky gut, just so you can get an idea of kind of what we're up against. We're going to educate big time on this together, but let's play that video on leaky gut first, please.
Our intestines are lined with barrier cells, called epithelial cells, that transport nutrients from food into our bloodstream. These epithelial cells have tight junctions between them to ensure that no undigested food particles, digestive waste, or toxins escape into our blood and create health complications. Healthy epithelial cells are supported by a balanced microbiome of good and bad bacteria, which is supported by a nutrient-rich intestinal environment. Stress, poor diet, lack of exercise, and use of antibiotics can disrupt our microbiome and intestinal environment. These disruptions can lead to weak epithelial cells and loose epithelial junctions. Without tight junctions, undigested food particles, digestive waste, and toxins can leak out of our intestines and into our bloodstream, causing inflammatory immune responses, various digestive disorders, and changes to the normal function of the digestive tract. This is often called leaky gut. So what can you do about it? A nutrient-rich intestinal environment helps support a healthy microbiome, which helps support strong epithelial cells and tight epithelial junctions. Therefore, an effective way to help prevent leaky gut is to maintain a healthy, nutrient-rich intestinal environment. This can be achieved with whole food and plant-based nutritional intake, good eating habits, and lifestyle management techniques like stress reduction and exercise.
Hello? There we go. So leaky gut is a major issue, and we're going to do a lot of training together on this. You're going to find that this is a problem that most of you have. In fact, I'm going to give you a real simple way to remember. You guys can go do this tomorrow. Well, depending upon what you do tonight, it might affect your test a little bit. I know we're in Las Vegas, but anyway, when you get home, you could do it this way. So first thing in the morning, before you get out of bed, when you get out of bed, before you eat anything, brush your teeth, drink anything, get a glass of water. Get just a full glass. Fill it up. It's got to be a glass. Take that glass and spit in it, and let that spit sit for about 15 minutes. That spit, if you have a healthy bacteria, it should stay floating at the top of the cup. If it starts to streak or hit the bottom, you've got bacterial issues, and that's a sign that why your body's out of balance. I'm telling you that the root cause of so many problems that people have is this leaky gut issue, and it's really simple to deal with if you know you have the problem. How many of you understand that if you know the problem, it becomes easy to fix it? There's so many folks that are walking around with symptoms today because it's like their check engine light's going off in their car, right? How many of you have ever had that happen before? Your check engine light's going off in your car. Well, just taking a piece of tape or putting a picture of your dog or your kids over it doesn't fix that problem. You got to take it in and find out what the issue is. The testing we have reveals that, but these therapeutics that we have on our master microbiotic formula really is the solution to this. So I'd like to play a little promo video on the microbiome, master microbiotics, then I'll come back out and talk a little bit about the product, okay?
Bloating, fatigue, digestive discomfort, skin issues and chronic inflammation. These symptoms plague millions of us every day, and simply treating our symptoms just isn't working. Many times at the root of these problems is an imbalanced gut microbiome. Our modern lifestyle, chronic stress, processed foods, and rampant antibiotic use are wreaking havoc on our gut health. This imbalance can lead to leaky gut, a condition where harmful substances leak into the bloodstream, causing widespread inflammation. Digestive issues, anxiety, cognitive problems, skin conditions, and joint pain all can stem from leaky gut and its partner, leaky brain. It's time to stop treating and masking the symptoms we suffer from and start addressing their root cause. And that starts with mastering your microbiome. Nearly 2,500 years ago, the great Greek physician Hippocrates, known as the father of medicine, famously said, "All disease begins in the gut." As we fast forward to today, we know he was onto something. 90% of our immune system resides in the gut, and each time we eat, drink, or come into contact with chemicals, antibiotics, or hormones, we are either nurturing our health or contributing to our diseases. Astonishingly, we have more bacterial cells in and on our body than we do human cells. Around 100 trillion of these organisms reside in our gut and are collectively known as the microbiome. This microbiome helps break down food, process vitamins and minerals for absorption, and protect against harmful pathogens. It communicates with our immune system and influences our brain and emotional health through the gut-brain axis. With a well-balanced microbiome, we are potentially addressing the root cause of some of our symptoms, allowing for increased energy levels, smoother digestion, clearer skin, less inflammation, and a more stable mood. A healthy gut and a mastered microbiome means a healthier you. Knowing where most probiotics and prebiotics fall short, we developed a patented solution, Biolimitless's Master Microbiotics, featuring our spore-based master microbes designed to recolonize your gut. Master Microbiotics utilizes our advanced phytomicro encapsulation technology, a clinically proven delivery system allowing a payload of master microbes to survive harsh stomach acids and recolonize the small intestine. Unique to our formula, not only do our spore-based microbes survive in the stomach, but as the plant-based encapsulation shell dissolves, it becomes a prebiotic, feeding the master microbes as they work to effectively rebuild your microbiome. Mastering your microbiome could be the key to healing your leaky gut and leaky brain, enhancing your cellular health, supporting healthy organs, optimizing nutrient absorption, and boosting your immunity.
Okay, this one's gonna be a lot of fun. So I've already recorded a bunch of videos and content that's gonna be on the website. You guys can go and learn about this formula, but one of the cool things that you're gonna love about this, how many of you have ever heard of something called the blue zones? The blue zones are areas of the world wherever people typically live to be 100 years old or more, but they're productive. And multiple studies have been done to look at the bacteria and the fungi that's in those individuals' bodies, because that's what helps them live longer, live healthy, reduces the risk of disease and disease. We took the microbes and the bacteria that are normally in that population of those individuals that are not in industrialized civilizations like our areas that most of us live in. We put those in that formula. And we use a real specific type of bacteria, a spore-based bacteria that helps colonize. And we've done before and after fecal samples to show that not only do these get into the GI tract, but they actually culture, which means, you know I talk about poop a lot, but it's part of my job. We take those samples and we're able to show that later on those bacteria recolonate and they're alive, which is the ultimate keystone to this. So the master microbiotic, the phytomicroencapsulation technology is really the key to get those spore-based microbes past the GI tract. I'm telling you, you combine BPC 157, that tripeptide formula that already has cellular gut healing capabilities, with the right type of microbiome technology, and what's going to happen is absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about this afternoon something that I want to get all of you engaged in, a challenge, if you will, because I know that in 45 days or less, if you put these two products into place, you change a couple simple little things about your lifestyle that you should be doing. I mean, simple things. Like if you're a couch potato, we can have a change in your life in 45 days. If you're an elite athlete, I know there's a light in here, we can have a huge change in your cellular health in 45 days. What if I told you there were things that could be done that in 45 days or less, we can reduce a lot of the symptoms that people are dealing with? Chronic inflammation, blood pressure issues, cholesterol stuff, blood sugar, we can do that. So this formula is really powerful. It's one of my favorites that are out there, and for lots of reasons. But I will tell you, there was a really prominent study that was done by Dr. Jeff Gordon, not the race car driver, but Dr. Jeff Gordon. And they did testing on obese rats and skinny rats, and then they've done this with humans as well. They took the fecal matter out of the overweight, obese, diabetic rats, put it into the skinny rats, and guess what happened to the skinny, healthy rats? They turned into the diabetic, overweight rats. And then when they switched it, vice versa, because our bacteria determines how we lose weight, how our metabolism works. They did the same thing. They done fecal transplants between healthy bacteria, organisms, and unhealthy, and their moods changed. Depression went away. Inflammation went away. So it really, truly is the bacteria and fungus in our GI tract that's so important that most of us in this room, because of the fact that we have too many antibiotics in our life, we have too much stress, and most of us eat the standard American type diet, which puts 95, listen to this, we want to talk about a market share, 95% of the world's population has this problem, 95%. If we go out and crusade this, we can change people's lives and change them forever. It's pretty cool, right? Okay, so now, you've heard me talk about this app for a while, right? You want to demo it a little bit? Yeah, let's do that. So what I want to do now is I want to show you a little bit of what we're going to be giving you, the Biolimitless.life app. We are using a tremendous amount of technology with everything that we're doing. Let's see if that comes up. There we go. So what if there was a tool that you could have on your phone that your DNA genetic test could go on, your blood testing could go on, your brain cognitive skill test could go on. All this was here that really lays out the blueprint and picture of you. And you had an interactive app that you could work with that was AI driven that could give results to you that you've never had before. That's what this is. So let me show you a couple really cool pieces of this. So first thing, if you look at this, the bottom, it says cognitive age, okay? Cognitive age is the age of your brain. I think my wife would probably laugh because it says I'm 21 years old right here. Sometimes I'm like 15, right? But I'm not 21 years old if you didn't know that, okay? But my biological cognitive function is at that. So there's literally, you can go through here and we can run an assessment and we can literally test your brain function. And once you do that, you can see how your reasoning, your memory, your attention, your motor skills, your perception skills are. Why are those important? Because if your perception skills are off when you're driving, that could be a problem. When your perception skills are off when you're walking down the stairs, you have a higher risk of twisting your ankle, breaking a hip. If you have issues with memory, there's so many things that we can measure with this. We can measure your focused attention, your visual recognition, your preparedness. All of these are known neurological tests that we can do to measure cognitive age. And then we can go up here to the top right and press training. And we can literally do a training protocol, if it'll pull up for me, with neurofeedback. And the training for the brain neurofeedback is literally simple things that you can do on your phone, task-oriented skills that I was just speaking to a gentleman behind the screen a minute ago in the green room, and he says, hey, there's this app that I use when I go to sleep at night. I do this for 5 minutes and I sleep better. This is neurofeedback. So we literally can play games on our brain retraining phone app that you have to make your brain younger. Folks, your brain's a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it, and Sudoku puzzles ain't gonna fix your problem. So this is really powerful technology, just that alone right there. So that's amazing. Let me show you a couple other things that we can do. Not only can we measure our cognitive function. Remember earlier I told you that there's some technology that we can use. I don't know if you know this, but during COVID, there was a lot of major advancements that have been done in the photo world, where they can measure your face and see if you have risk for infections or how your vitamin and mineral balance are, your hydration, and etc. We now can measure your biological and chronological age through your face. Now, I've been speaking all day and I'm a little dehydrated, so I'm nervous to do this, but I'm going to show you a demo of how simple this is that we can do. And by the way, could you imagine if somebody went on here, did their face scan, which I'm going to take my glasses off because that makes you look older, and they're able to get an idea of what their face balance looks like. Let's see, perfect, move closer. Oh, what a good looking guy. 3, 2, 1. Boom, picture's taken, submit that. Now, 30 seconds later, it's going to analyze my face. It's going to analyze my lines, my wrinkles, my bags, my eyeballs, and it's going to tell me the good, the bad, the ugly. And this can change on a daily basis. But let's go check this out. Let's look at my stats. But what if you were able to measure your face health, which is an indication of your overall body health, and it was 20 years older than what your chronological age is? And then you were able to put X, Y, and Z into a lifestyle, and then you tested that 45 days later, and it went younger. I mean, how powerful is that? I mean, it really is some amazing technology. Whoops. So here's my stats. Let's see what it says. Okay, so my face. Okay, so I'm super dehydrated. My face says it's 40. I'm younger. I'm a little older than 40, so I'll take that. My eye bags are on point. My eye age. You can see how your pores look. It gives you an idea of where your body's at physiologically. I mean, it's pretty powerful technology. Isn't that great? Now check this out. Those are cool, but this is super cool. By the way, isn't this just, how sexy is the colors on this? It's pretty cool to look at. So now I go to my home screen and I go, all right, let me look at my DNA results. This is my own genetic test. So I can go through here and get it. This is my first page is the summary. Kind of gives you like an overall, what are the things that you should know about the most about you, what risk factors you have, etc. But let's say I want to know more about my diet. So I'm going to click on the dietary one. So my body says, okay, you have an okay response to carbohydrates. It's normal response. Well, how do we know that? You can click on that link. It tells you what genes we measured. It tells you about the carbohydrate response, how your body responds, specifically how you respond to things. And then you go down here, it shows you recommendations you can do. Then it shows you references with all the NIH.gov data to support the response of what you should do. So you can learn a tremendous amount about your health by how you process carbs, fats, proteins. You know, like my body needs a lot of protein. My body doesn't do very well with sugar. If I have high risk for snacking or metabolic issues, or look, like my body doesn't do well. Who's ever done a yo-yo diet before, where they go for a while, they lose weight, and then they rebound back up higher again? Did you know that there's genes that predispose you to that? Yo-yo diet genes are right here. You know, so with all this information, we can put together a genetic profile and a plan for you. You can now go and look at all your health insights. So if you want to learn about you from an anti-aging, an eye, a gut health, a heart, immune, injury risk, mental health, muscle health, skin, sleep, stress, you can go through all those. You know, when Dr. Porter was talking about mental health, there are genes that we can measure that tell us if we have predisposition to certain issues. Look, if I have a predisposition for dopamine addiction and I know that I have a higher risk for addiction, then I can actually put something into my life I can get positively addicted to that's going to help me. Do you understand that? As opposed to being addicted to something that's going to cause problems. It says attention span. Mine says slightly lower. Okay, well, that makes sense. There's genes in here. See this one that says workaholic gene? This is also the other olic genes, the alcoholic, the any type of high dopamine response. So knowing these genes and how your body can respond to them is really a powerful tool. If you want to find out about your risk for injuries, this is something we do a lot with athletes. And by the way, you should know this as well. So for example, there are genes that cause a high risk for low back pain, bone and joint issues, Achilles problems. You know, there are people that actually have higher genetic predisposition for Achilles issues, knee issues, back issues, and etc. Well, if you know that you should be doing X, Y, and Z exercises to help yourself prevent that, don't you think that would be a powerful thing to do? So you can actually, once you get done with your testing, look at all this stuff you can do. You can get your health insights. You can look at the quality of your air, your genetic action plan. Your genetic action plan, you go through and you answer a series of questions. What goals are you trying to accomplish, and et cetera. And it takes all that information and gives you a plan that you can do, and it can track your lifestyle. And we can actually go here and go, okay, let's look at my DNA diet. So based off of what I'm trying to accomplish, I can change my calorie intake and et cetera based off of my lifestyle. And then I can look at my micronutrients, my calories, my splits, how much water, what supplements I should have. I mean, we can track and monitor everything from this. And I think it's also pretty cool that, you know, I think it was Dr. Porter and CJ both mentioned the fact that, you know, we have a movement deficiency. There's so many problems we have because of lack of movement. But what if there were some simple movements that you could do to help improve your body? So like based off of my own genetic plan, if I go and I say, all right, I want to know what's a good workout plan for me. Okay, so I can click on this workout plan and it says, all right, if you did these 3 days on, 1 day off, 1 day on, that's the first week of exercise for you. Week 2 looks like this. Week 3 looks like that. And if I don't know what exercises to do, I can click my little button and then I can watch a video of how to do these exercises. So it literally is a mobile app to help you, give you the map, the keys, and the car to everything that you could possibly want to have. And we can put other health monitoring on here. We're going to API with wearable tech, sleep tech, all this stuff. Imagine if you could control all, not just getting your blood test in one spot, but actually what do you do about it, right? Like how many of you are so sick and tired of going to doctors or doing certain tests and then you get done and you don't know what to do? What if there's some things you could do? Well, this application helps you do that. We're going to go through a bunch of classes together on how to utilize this. It's kind of like an Apple Watch. The first time I got my Apple Watch, I was like, this thing's broken. I don't know how to use it. Now it's freaking amazing. So the same thing's going to be true for this app. So what do you think about this app and the information you're going to get? It's pretty cool, right?